religious minorities is the headline story of the day. I'm Ed Hubbard with Pagan World News, and let us begin. Today, Wild Hunt, wildhunt.org, one of the great things, reported on research, the new Pew Research, and found that religious violence has been increasing for 3 years in a row in ending 2023, 198 countries. Uh, and some of the highest scores we've seen in a very long time since Arab Spring. What does that mean? It means there's more violence against religious minorities than there has been in a while. It's been increasing. And at the end of 2023, um, and also that they've been restriction. Of course, we know that the restrictions on religion, 58 countries in 2023, and it's growing. Uh, 78% of the world population lives in countries with high or very high levels of government restrictions, social hostilities, or both. Of course, on the list is China, Iran, Afghanistan, Indonesia, Syria, Uzbekistan. While countries with very high level of social hostilities include Nigeria, India, Israel, Syria, Bangladesh, and Pakistan, according to this report. And 12 countries have moved to moderate to high level. This is the one that catches it. So we're seeing more of that. Belgium, Norway, Russia, Sweden, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Sierra Leone, Tanzania, Thailand, Turkey, Guatemala, and Sudan. And of course, Rolando, our peace warrior, great Rolando, our peace warrior there, is that the Philippines and Ethiopia have moved from high category back to moderate levels. Let us join with that. And the peace movements in Philippines are working. We'll have to have an interview with him. That is very interesting. So in 2007, we saw 118 countries that were harassing religious groups. It's now 185 in 2023. And 112 countries in 2007 were interfering with worship. Now it's 175, primarily against Christians, Muslims, we're seeing Hindus, um, Jehovah Witnesses, Jews, that. Now for pagans, we're not really considered maybe folk religions. They don't explain where we fit in, and a lot of other smaller religions. So, paganism, Wiccan, nature spiritual, animists, and other religious movements are not specifically identified. The same true for several smaller but globally significant communities, Yazidis, Baha'is, and practitioners of the Yoruba religion. As a result, it remains unclear whether these are separately identified or incorporated in broader categories. We really don't know what is finding out about pagans, witches, and all of us. So we got that. So thank you, Wild Hunt. Wildhunt.org has it all there. And thank you for sharing that with us. And now, more positive news. You should go to Starhawk Substack, starhawk.substack.com. And she's having a birthday and solstice celebration. She's one of the most important people and the leader we most need right now. And she's going to tomorrow night have a party, and she has a great story about her life and her activist training, and she's leading us in some great places. And for the long term, she's not in this because of some politics or anything like that. She's in the long time because of survival business. And yeah, so June 17th, on Wednesday, June 17th at 6 p.m., there will be an online ASL interpreted and recording for later viewing. It is by donation. It will help our Earth activist training programs. So come on out there, give her some donations, and also give her a birthday party, says Starhawk. Um, and it says it's a privilege in her thing. It's a privilege to be able to create, celebrate. We also need to replenish our energy, ignite our vision, and strengthen our commitment to create the world of justice and balance we crave. Blessings, Starhawk. Also tonight, let me get this right. Within the Cauldron at 7 p.m. Within the Cauldron on YouTube, they will be having a major, 5 people experts on the continuing of the situation with the DoD and the military. So I'm recommending people watch that. Okay. for those of us who are more cannabisly that a few days ago, just 3 days ago, 3 or 4 days ago, True Leaf Cannabis Corp became the first New York Stock Exchange uh, traded marijuana company. Let's call it what it is. Primary medicinal. They had to do a lot of tweaking to get there. But guess what? They're there. Today they traded for $9.44 a share. We are not recommending shares. This is not it. We're reporting it that marijuana has gone from being the war against drugs to winning its place on the New York Stock Exchange. Isn't that the way it seems to always be? Always, you can send us information. I'm as a pagan. You can find me anywhere. I could use your help. I need more people helping me find the news and report the news. Okay, so I'm going to leave with one more piece that I think is important. A psychic, as the by the Daily News, the Daily Mail out of England says, um, her name is Bihanas, is reporting that UFOs will be arriving June 24th at the Florida statement and starting during the World Cup. Uh, she is a Brazilian spiritualist with over 23 million followers on social media, has made a public prediction that UFOs will descend on June 24th, World Cup match between Brazil and Scotland with hostile intent. That's right, folks. Hostile intent. There you go. Uh, in this very popular clairvoyant believes multiple extraterrestrial craft will approach the stadium, including a giant mothership, and carry both superstar athletes and fans in the crowd, leading to the mass human suffering. So there you go. For who it is, Brianna, June 24th, UFO invasion. Uh, and with that, uh, we're going to continue on with Pagan News. We love your statements. Every day I ask questions. Later this week, one of the questions I was asking: do we need a shared pagan environment for children in the future? Do we need to have a shared educational platform? Wide-ranging answers. I'm going to cover it more, and I'm going to cover more on that on Friday. So there you go. We're going to go ahead and we're going to hand it over to Don, he has a few things to say.
Rev Don's Book of Stones, Metals, and Crystals. Everything you always wanted to know about the magical and spiritual properties of stones, metals, and crystals in one book. Get your copy today at CorellianPublishing.com.
Hello, this is Reverend Don Lewis, and welcome to my corner of Pagan World News, where I give my opinions on stories of interest. And in the last couple of days, I've talked about the importance of media. I've talked about the importance of our local communities. And today I once again wanted to talk about the importance of our online community as well. Yes, it's very important that we re-strengthen our local communities. We need them more than ever. We live in a very difficult political time, and our local support is going to be very important. So when it is possible for us to take part in local groups and local gatherings, we should do so. When it's possible for us to sponsor these, we should do so. However, that doesn't mean that we should turn away from our online resources, because we also need our national and international connections to go forward. This has always brought us together in a way that was not previously possible over vast distances, in a way that printed material could not do. Things like Zoom and Restream are allowing us to have face-to-face communication around the world. And this is something our ancestors could only dream of. It's a very important thing for us to have, and we certainly must not let go of it. We need to continue to build that as well. And I want to say to you today that it's not a choice between our physical real-time communities and our online community. We can have both. We can build both, and we need to. We need to consider our future, our welfare, and how we're going to survive the difficult times we're living in. And we need all of these connections to do it. And so I want to encourage you today, not only to get out and be active in your physical community if you can, but to be active in your online community as far as you can. Get to know people, work with people, build alliances with people, build relationships with people. Because in the end, it's our relationships that are going to sustain us. It's our community being able to stand together that will sustain us. I often tell the story from early in my pagan career, from one of the first pagan spirit gatherings. My cousin Crystal and I joined the Pagan Spirit Alliance in 1978. So we're talking about a long time ago. That was before there even was a pagan spirit gathering. So we saw the first couple of them. We did not go, but we watched from a distance. And one of the stories that came out from one of those early gatherings was that a number of armed protesters showed up to try to disrupt the gathering. And there were like 300 people there. And most of them ran into the woods to hide and left Selena Fox and a handful of others to go negotiate with the protesters, which Selena Fox, being Selena Fox, she quite successfully did. But I remember thinking at the time, how shameful to be one of the people who ran into the woods. I would never be that person. And I encourage you not to be that person either. Yes, maybe you would be putting yourself in danger to stand with the people who are negotiating for you. But you're putting yourself in more danger by running into the woods, because there you'll be alone if those protesters come to get you. At least if we all stand together, we're not alone. And we have some hope of surviving. Running into the woods is not a strategy. It is not a sensible thing to do. It's the act of a child. And we need to act as mature adults. We need to take up our responsibilities and stand for what we believe in, stand for who we are, stand for our community, and be willing to be counted upon by our fellows in this community. And who knows what the future is going to hold? It may not be necessary for anyone to stand up at all, or we may all have to stand up. And we need to have the connections to be able to do that, and the will not to run into the forest, but to come to the gate and face the people who oppose us, and, God us willing, overcome them. So that is my message to you today. I hope you find it helpful, and until next time, may you blessed be.